Hello everyone, Bearded Brush, and this is part 3 with the Gundabad Ogres. Really pleased with how these guys have turned out. The whole process of painting these guys, I wasn't too confident with them at first, just because there's so much the skin elements to them, basically. The cave troll obviously has a lot of armour. The orcs, lots of armour, lots of dry brushing with metals and steel and all this, that and the other. So having flesh is something I do not enjoy painting too much, especially so much of it. But luckily, these guys in the end came out really, really well. I'm not entirely sure why my camera keeps focusing for, but it is for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the lighting maybe, but we'll see how we do. So, we go this guy first because this is the guy I'm most awesomely chuffed with. Now, with the kit, it comes with a little Iron Hills dwarf, which is where this dude's foot, as you can see, it's slightly raised when you build these guys. The dwarf sits underneath here as if this dude has just squashed him. As cool as that is, and it's really good, don't get me wrong, the detail's brilliant even on such a tiny little squished Iron Hills dwarf. But it ties the ogre in too much with just one enemy army, and to the scene itself. Obviously, you can use that obviously for like Iron Hills and for the theme and things, of course. But obviously, you're going to be playing more than just Iron Hills, I assume. And so I didn't want to be tied into just one thing. And so I made a fallen log, of course, to go along with my autumn theme that my army generally has. It's made from milliput. I just literally rolled out into a sausage, and then I sort of wheeled it and moved it around a bit. Got a blunt scalpel, knife blade type thing, and literally just drew in loads of lines. I did a couple little hole type bits where like obviously like branches have snapped off over the years and things. Done a little hole on the inside there and a little hole on the inside there to make it look like obviously it's where it's fallen from the main tree, or it's just like a fallen log. To give some more details and stuff. And that's basically just dry brushed, dried bark. Nothing flash, nothing complicated. Just the usual sort of thing. Stuck a few bits of little foliage on from the old Jarvis Scenics range for like moss. Dry brushed a couple of different layers of greens, going from dark up to light. Any greens will work, to be quite honest. You can't go wrong as long as you start with the dark green and work your way out. Very subtle dry brushing, you'll be absolutely fine. And that's just to give it like that look of like, you know, where the I don't know what you call it, the dew, the moss, the green, that old rotten sort of look starting to go onto the log. So I went for that, and obviously he sat on there, lovely. What I had to do when the milli put hadn't quite sealed and finished was when I laid it down before I scalped it in, the details in those. I stood this dude on top of it and pushed him down to make sure that where he sat, his foot would be absolutely spot on, and his foot there would be level to the base, and this foot would be level to the log. Because obviously, if I just made the log, did it all, then stuck it to the base, and then realised that he would sit at more of an angle, so this foot was like hardly on the floor, that would be more of an issue. You just have to sort of do something here and that, and it'd make the model sort of go off, because obviously he would then be sort of tilting upwards more, so it wouldn't look right. So I did that first. So obviously I knew spot on that this would fit bang on fine. So really chuffed with that. Then the usual things, the stones, got the few mixes of static grass, um, more of the foliage flooring type cover, and yeah, it came out really nicely. I went for the leaf cutting. Obviously, made some more leaves so they got scattered on the ground and blown onto there. And I feel it really sets off this model quite nicely. I'm really, really pleased with how it's come out. I think it's come out really, really well. But back to the flesh, as I'd mentioned earlier. So yeah, I was really dreading this, and over the couple of weeks, months, I was painting this on and off. I had a real love-hate relationship with this. I really wasn't confident with it. I wasn't confident of how it was going. But it's just come out really well. So I started off with trying the technique of doing an undercoat of light places obviously for the light and dark for the shades, and I used two different shades of brown, just straight off brown, simple as that. One was Mornfang brown, one was Scrag brown. And then from there I then added XV88 with a Shabty bone and a little bit of Scrag brown to make a lighter, dare I say, fleshy colour. Is it fleshy colour? To then go over them completely. And then from there, I then added mixes of a Shabty bone with XV88, layering it up slowly but surely, starting to introduce White Scar White, Padded Witch Flesh as well. And at one point, I'd really highlighted him up, but he was looking too pale. So what I then did was I used Scrag Brown with a Shabty Bone, quite 50-50, but heavily watered down-ish. Is quite watered down. It's still paintable, but it wasn't like water thin, if that makes sense. It was just before it's getting too sort of watery, basically. And I went over it again. That brought everything back down to a darker shade again. Still had some of the white of like the skin textures. And then I highlighted up again, exfoliate Ushepti Bone with White Scar and a little bit Padded Witch Flesh here and there to sort of bring out the colour. And eventually I ended up with this. And what I like is you can actually see the different shades of brown. Like for example in the arm crease here, the recess there, that's the original brown that I had to begin with before I brought the shades back down again and built it up as such. In between the toes, you can see nice dark sort of browns there with skin. It kind of gives them like a dirty skin vibe, which is really cool. Again, you see different shades there, the lighter colours, the darker colours, and it's come out really well. I'm really pleased with this. In the end, actually painting his flesh was actually really rewarding, which is great. And the face is just so full of character. You can't go wrong with that. It's just such a cool face. The rest of the model is really easy, so I just simply dry brushed Mechanicus Standard Grey with lighter shades of white and with a lighter shade of grey over this bit. Not a lot of effort went into that, if I'm honest, because I didn't feel it needed it. I used a little bit of Nuln Oil just to sort of put a little wash through it. Dryad Bark for the club. We have, is that Mornfang Brown? I believe Mornfang Brown on the leather binding. Rhinox Hide on the loincloth and Mornfang Brown for the leather binding on the top there. And that is him. That is that ogre done. And it came out really well. And then this guy, painted both at the same time, I should say. This guy's face is just absolutely fantastic. It's straight out of the film. Whoever sculpted this model just caught the model's look, the character of the trolls look so well. It's just brilliant. It's really cool, and it just comes out so nicely. It's really good. And again, the club is fantastic. It's like a massive lump of wood with some spikes just jammed into it. It's brilliant. Yeah, really cool. But painted the same way. It's not a lot of difference here, to be quite honest. Many differences is with the stones, or whatever you want to call this. It's got like this strange, like ridged effect going on. I say strange, it is in the film. It is there, but I don't really understand how that naturally would have occurred if everything else is so lumpy bumpy, like this dude's so lumpy bumpy. Why it's ridged for, I don't know, but it's not a fault or complaint. It's just more of an interest as to what lore is behind that and why that happened. It's just a texture thing or whatever. But again, painted the same. One thing I forget to mention on this guy, but on this guy you'll see that I've done a mixture of like sort of like warts, like weird spot type things, and the stones there. And I've done that to make it look like that, well, they basically do have some spots. They've got some funny, like gross, weird, warty things like that, just to sort of mix them up a bit. And for that, I used Carroburg Crimson Wash, just to highlight that. And I even put the Carroburg Crimson Wash in the face as well. You'll see it in this one as well. A little bit of Carroburg Crimson, just in the recesses of the face. And I did that to give them a sort of a slight coloured look to their face, a bit of a ruddy sort of reddened look to their face, almost make it look sort of like hot from battle or something like that. And they even went in the wash of their mouth as well, along with sort of very fine dry brush of White Scar White, fun enough, for their teeth, just so the white just about come out. And it gives the look of the teeth are white, but they also very, very dirty, which is cool. And then the base is the same as the previous chap. I did a mini log on this guy, just there. I was just striding over it. Same again with the grasses, normal sort of tundra grasses, some of the floor foliage, stones, all the usual bits and bobs. And yeah, come out really well. Really pleased. Looking forward to when I get to use these guys in the battle on the tabletop. You could do a lot of these guys, I think, actually, in terms of actual modelling of like scenery, dioramas. You could have a lot of fun with these guys, and they're just brilliant models. Really enjoyed them. Probably the only two I'll get. Again, I want to do a big Gundabad army. But these are probably the only two I'm going to get. I feel lots of infantry is going to be a good thing to go for, and also obviously having some hunter orcs or wargs, a fast attack element is going to benefit the army greatly. But yeah, that's that for now. Stay tuned for part 4 in the coming week or so. I've really enjoyed painting that particular miniature as well. It's going to be cool. And then at the end of the month, when I'm paid again, I'll be looking at another warband, and I'll be looking at getting Azog painted up as well, because Azog, of course, I got him for Christmas. and it's the Azog with Thorin, the sort of the battle scene as such, where they've got the ice pieces to be mounted on, which is awesome. So yes, I'll be looking at getting him painted up soon. And through painting up the models which you will be seeing in the next video, painting their skin colours has actually helped me greatly in painting Azog's skin colour, because again I was quite concerned about how that was going to look, so I'm really pleased about that, and it should come out quite nicely, I hope. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed my little rundown. Part 3 already, it's going nicely. I'm really enjoying this army, looking forward to when it's all painted up. I'd say points wise I'll be happy once I've got about 2 full warbands done. I've got the conversion kit as well from Forge World, so I will be using that on the next warband as well to give a bit of variety, along with Azog. Eventually a bowl, but with the 2 ogres and the troll that I have, I would imagine that that army is going to come in at a good, well, at least over 500 points. I would imagine. I need to actually sit down and point it all up, but yeah, come up well. So thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Any comments and stuff as usual, do let me know. Let's get some chats going down below. And yeah, I shall see you soon. Bye.